We eliminate the source. We can't eliminate all of the problem because it comes in through the HOTS, through the grid, and our own switch mode power supplies due to our different devices. So I'm going to plug this filter in here. See what happens here. This is a sine tamer. This is going to actually work on the lower voltages. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this back. See how eliminated? We dropped all those different frequencies. So now we reduce the frequencies right above the 60 hertz cycle. Now let's unplug this again. Okay, now you see this is 20,000 times a second. That's 80,000 times a second. That field's hitting your body. And this is all your electrical wiring. And we're electrical machines. I'm going to plug this back in. And I'll get in here in a minute. Oh, I got it the wrong way. Okay, now I'm going to take the DNA. Now, the DNA goes up to about 60, what we call 60 dBs. Does more of the higher frequencies. The sine tamer does more of the lower frequencies. The sine tamer also acts as a surge protector. So you get a surge protection out of this. Also, you reduce a lot of the dirty electricity that's coming from the grid and even from your own switch mode power supply. So I'm going to go and plug in the DNA and see if there's much difference. Okay, see these little bubbles here? It's pushing that energy. That's usually a pretty good sign of the LEDs as well. So pretty similar. A lot of my customers will do both of them just to give extra protection. This is sine tamer. I think we got a little bit better protection out of the DNA. And if you notice here, we can see the visual. Now I'm going to plug in, this actually, you can hear the dirty electricity is actually in your wiring. And this is what your cells actually put out light, they put out music. So you got a radio station inside your wiring. So because the radio station towers, your house becomes an antenna, picks it all up. We're at 700 millivolts.
Too bad it doesn't pick up our TV.
Now let's go ahead and plug this back in. See what it does. Now that dropped it down to 23 millivolts. So this did a really good job. So I like that because you see numbers here. Unplug it. Now it's back up to 690, 720. Let's bring in the DNA and see who does a better job. Yeah, we're down to 36. Now let's plug them both in. So the sine tamer did a little bit better job overall, which is good. It actually gets plugged in at the panel. Now we're down to 10. So ideally, if the budget was there, we could do both sine tamer and the DNA filters. But I'm going to unplug this one more time. Unplug that. Okay. Now, again, we are at 704. Now let's go back to the dimmer switches one last time here. And let's change it. I'm going to stand over here really quick. And we're going to turn this on. Now, look how bad that got. Look at that. That's the energy. That's the energy in this field coming hitting your body. Now we went up to, it didn't change so much there. And that's why we need oscilloscopes and picoscope, because this only picks out a certain range from 10 kilohertz to about 90 kilohertz area. This picks up a little bit more information for me to see. Now as I move around again one more time, the dimmer switch, it's chopping the energy to the neutral. And that's why you're getting these shifts in the energy here. That's why dimmer switches are a complete disaster. Same with LED lights. Don't unplug that. Now let's go ahead.
The same with what lights?
LED lights are a disaster. They're very toxic for the human body, and I can show it to you.
Wow.
So let's go ahead and hear the energy. Let's go ahead and take an LED light here. This is our CFLs. Remember, we got these that say the polar bear. These are extremely toxic. They have mercury in them. So it puts out a mercury frequency, so your body will pick it up. I'm going to plug this in. Now you see how it shifted the energy? It actually kind of like modifies it a little bit. It's kind of interesting how this works. It just moves around the energy. I broke the light bulb. The one that made by Edison, I broke it earlier. But Edison light bulbs doesn't do any of this at all. It doesn't change the frequencies. It doesn't move it around because it's not toxic. These are all toxic. That's your CFL, complete disaster. Let's go to your LEDs. Light emitting diodes. Not quite as bad, but see, look what it did. You can see right there, it made it worse. So now, so it goes down to about 650. I turn it on. Yeah, it keeps moving it around. Now it moves it around because it's chopping the wave up. It's working on a lower voltage. It's not working on 220 volts. It's working on 3 volts. And you're chopping it up. Every time you have a switchable power supply of any sort, you chop it all up. So I just want to bring this to everybody's attention here because these are booby traps no one knows about and no one even talks about. But we have a visual, we have a hearing, we have a radio station, we have the shunting, we have the different higher voltages, and unplug this here, get rid of that noise, and then we have devices you can put in there. So your body acts like a capacitor. It absorbs this energy and actually dissipates it. So instead of your body acting like a capacitor, you stick this in, now this acts as a capacitor. Now how much quieter it is. And your cells hear all that. They hear every bit of that. All right, thanks. You want to turn it off.